Well, hello everybody, welcome back to Succeed with Hamid. Today's video is going to be about neck stretching, but before I get into the actual stretches themselves, I just wanted to cover two things. One, this video is actually by request for somebody, and I'm always down to do as many requests as you guys have. So, if you have a request on a video on any topic that relates to health or exercise or spiritual well-being or anything like that, drop a comment down below on your request. I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. But number two, I want to talk a couple of things first about why neck stretching sometimes doesn't work. The neck muscles kind of start in this general area from kind of the collarbone straight to the back top of the shoulder blade. Not just the trapezius, but there's a lot of stuff inside of here. I think there's something like maybe 13 muscles just from here to here inside of the neck. The reason I say that is a lot of times, let's just take general side stretch here, a lot of times the shoulder will start to follow because these muscles are so tight. Now you might feel a little bit of tugging, but this is going to do two bad things. One, it's going to not stretch what you actually want to stretch properly, but two, it's going to actually further reinforce bad posture. If I'm in this position, I start to stretch, I'll actually probably stretch the wrong muscles. Making sure I can get that shoulder back and down, getting everything level here, and then getting into my stretching, even potentially actually stretching the front of the body from here actually works really well. But the second thing is that jawline is really important. Let's say this is the roof of my mouth, these are the two front teeth. The way my tongue works is these two muscles right here actually come up into the neck and they turn into the same muscles down here that control your tongue. So, if your tongue is like this, your jaw is actually going to be down and forward, which is usually pretty comfortable. Here's the problem. A lot of the stuff here can actually get really tight. What we're going to do is we're actually going to take the tongue and push it up. So the tip of your tongue is actually touching the back of your front two teeth and the top of your mouth. And then we're going to slide that tongue all the way up. And what that's going to do is it's going to take your jaw from here to here. And it's going to lift everything in the front. A lot of us are stuck in these, forward collarbone positions for typing. This is going to help lift everything up. And we can get into a lot of good stretching once we get that tension. Okay, that takes some practice for some people just because that upwards motion is so tight. But I'm only going to cover a couple of these stretches today, but really those two principles really will help alleviate any of the questioning on this. Is it working right? No, you're going to feel this. Now, first one, we're going to go after the back of the neck. I'm going to try and do this sideways. So, same thing. Tongue on the roof of the mouth. What I'm going to do is hook my hand onto my lower jaw, and I'm going to hook my other hand onto the base of my skull. If you can find where the soft part is right next to the spine, you'll start to feel what we call the occipital bone back here at the base of the skull. Really what I'm trying to do is if I'm in this position, the muscles from here to here are actually super short. That doesn't make sense for some people until I do this. So if I'm here, there should be a 42-degree arc here. But if that muscle gets short, what it's going to do is it's going to pull me down this way. Here's the problem. I need to see the world, so this is what ends up happening, right? So if I can stretch that out, now I can actually get to this big up position. So same thing. I'm going to pinch back of the skull, jawline, tongue on the roof of the mouth, and I'm going to push down and back here and up and back here to get into that stretch. This takes a little bit of practice, and sometimes it's so tight that it's really difficult to get into here, so you can use a couple fingers in there and start to massage out this area a little bit. Sometimes that tends to loosen it up enough that you can actually feel the stretch. But most of the time what I tell people is, listen, try this for 20-30 seconds at a time, 2 or 3 times, all 5 days in a row for 1 week, and you'll really start to feel this start to open up. Sometimes it's just so tight that this really starts to not stretch very easily. But before I go on too farther, the neck muscles are so small, and sometimes they're actually more tendon than actual muscle. 20-30 seconds max. This is something better to actually say, okay, I'm going to stretch it for 20-30 seconds, take a 30-second rest, then stretch it again. That's a much better thing. If you stretch your neck muscles too much, your head actually gets a little loose, and then especially if this is right before exercise, you can really start to lend yourself to some overuse injuries after some time. But here's another one for you guys for the side of the neck. I'm going to try to do this one a little bit obliquely so you can kind of see this muscle right here. Because a lot of times when people are going after the side of the neck, they're trying to go after the traps, and there's better stretches for that. But what I'm going to do first, like I said, I need to get this collarbone and shoulder in a good spot. So good posture from the neck down, pushing the shoulder blade back. And what I'm going to do with this hand is I'm going to actually spread out my fingers. The second I spread out my fingers, the neck extender muscles actually start to turn on. So I'm going to push straight down, extend the tricep back, push the shoulder back, and hit down. Still staying level. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and take my head directly to the side. Again, not trying to take the spine with me, staying right here, directly over to the side. And if I get a little closer to the camera, you'll start to see this guy come out. This guy is very interesting. It actually doesn't fire by itself almost ever. It fires with 3 or 4 other guys inside the neck. So what I like to do when I get here, again, 20-30 seconds, but I'm going to search. I'm going to turn the head down, and I'm going to keep this angle that I have, and I'm going to turn the neck up. Same thing, tongue on the roof of the mouth the whole time I'm talking, so it's a little bit trickier. And what you'll find when you kind of scan through that is that, okay, maybe this isn't that great, right? No stretch at all. And then the second I start to turn, holy hell, that was pretty bad. Or you start to find the shoulder starting to drop forward with you. You know that that guy is actually a little tight, but in that specific angle. And the next time you do that stretch, you want to immediately go directly to that stretch and just breathe, tongue on the roof of the mouth, breathing in through the nose. And you should be able to go a little further. Same thing on the other side. Now, anchoring that down. A lot of people tend to teach this while sitting down on the edge of the bench so you can grab on or under the seat or anything. I tend to prefer just teaching people how to use this musculature to hold themselves down and back because that's posture muscles, 101. There's another one I want to teach for the front of the neck, and one of the things I really want to be clear about, this can hurt, and if it does, you should not do the stretch, okay? No pain in any of the stretches that we do today. There's sometimes what happens when the neck, like I said, 42-degree arc should happen here, and 90% of people in America right now have lost that arc just because we sit so much and look forward. Especially when this gets tight, my head comes forward, and I end up going from an arc about this to that. I'm one of those people, unfortunately. So when we start to stretch the front of the neck and we go backwards, that arc isn't there anymore. Now I'm actually pushing bones onto other bones. Only go as far as you're comfortable, really trying to almost think about lifting your chin that way instead of backwards, and you'll start to feel the stretch through here. But same thing, I'm going to actually grab my collarbones and pull them down just slightly, tongue on the roof of the mouth, up that way instead of back this way. And you'll start to feel a little bit of a stretch here. The reason this one's so important is if this stuff gets tight, it's actually pulling back onto some lymph nodes, it's pulling back onto your air ducts, it's opening the throat when we start to stretch this out and getting into this sort of stuff right here. It also helps saliva production, it helps a lot of hormones and lymphatic fluid drainage in the jawline. There's a lot of benefit to doing a stretch like that. There's one more I'm going to teach you guys, and it's also going to come with another little bit of a philosophy with stretching. Same thing though, 20-30 seconds with just the neck, but you can take this contract relax to almost any muscle in the body. I'm going to stand up nice and tall, get my shoulders in a good alignment. What I'm going to do is take my opposite hand to my opposite side of my face, just like that. Tongue on the roof of the mouth. I'm going to turn my head as far that way as I can comfortably while looking with my eyes in the same direction. I'm just going to go around. When you get to the point where this shoulder starts to follow you, stop there. And then what you're going to do, tongue on the roof of the mouth, push your face into your hand as hard as you can. Pure rotation, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, and then you should be able to go a little further. If you want to do that a second time, you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A little further. For you science nerds out there, what ends up happening, we're really trying with any stretches we do to override the GTOs, the gangliotendin organelles inside the muscle, the stuff that actually tells the muscle to contract. Now here's the thing. It takes a long time with static stretching to do that. So 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes in the yoga world to really get those things to relax. But if I cause the muscle to contract by pushing into my hand in this rotation, all those rotational muscles exhaust quickly. And then I can immediately use that slack response after they're exhausted to get a little further into my stretch. So you can do the same thing on the other side. Turn as far as you can comfortably. Push into your hand. You can hold your breath if you want to. You can inhale if you want to. Or then you can exhale on the relax. and you can get into those. There's a lot of stretches for the neck. I only had time for about 4 of them today, otherwise this video is going to go to 15 minutes, and I don't want to do that to you guys. But again, if you have any requests on any of this stuff, let me know in a comment down below. I love to put videos up for you guys, and I'll do it on anything you want. But that's it for today. I hope this information was very helpful to you guys. As always, have a happy and healthy rest of your day. I'll talk to you next time.